Here's what we're trying to produce. This is a screen grab of a simple website. I'm going to be using 5 div containers. So the outside I'm going to call the wrapper. This top section where @loops is I'm going to call a banner. Then on the left hand side I'll have a nav element. On the right hand side that's my container, and I mean content container, and then at the bottom I'm going to call that a footer. Now I've taken that screen grab and I've put it into Paint so that I can get some measurements that I can use to set up what everything's going to look like in the CSS. I can make measurements here, like say this starts at 10. I'm going to call each one of these boxes 10 pixels. So start at 10 and go out to 890, so that's 880 pixels wide. I can also get all my separations. If you look here, you can see that looks like about 25 pixels to me for all these gutters in between the different div elements. And also I can do get all my color grabs from here by using the little color extractor tool, or whatever you want to call it. I can come in and I can see what color that is, and then I can use a scientific calculator to take that 221 and convert it from a decimal to a hex value. So that gets all my colors for me. Now here I'm running Firefox. Got a tool called Edit CSS. There's no CSS on the document right now. You can see it just kind of flows down the page with all the content coming, in block elements one after the other. And then I can come over here on the left side and I can put in CSS and see it update real time to the document. Okay, so I've put in the wrapper element. You can see how the page has changed. The background color is now set. This margin auto essentially centers the page. The padding that comes from my measurements from the paint. So I've got 10 at the top, 40 on the right hand side, 30 at the bottom, and 10 on the left hand side. And then there's my fixed width at 880 pixels. Okay, so now I've put in the banner. You can see I put in the background. This border radius, that's what gives the banner that rounded off appearance. Let me take that out. You can see it kind of squares up. So I'll be doing that to all the elements to give that rounded look. Height of 65 pixels instead of the 85 that I measured from the document, but that's because of the padding that I'm going to apply later. And you can see the @loops is down at the bottom of this div, so we're going to work on that with the next piece. Okay, so I put in an H1 control so that I can make the size of this what I want, 40 pixels, and then I put in a margin of 0 because you can see without that this margin pushes down my text. So I'm going to get rid of that margin, and I'm going to get rid of all the padding also, so that essentially, let me turn on Firebug here. If I look at the H1 element, now you can see it's centered in my my banner here, and I'm pushing that down with this padding, this 22 pixels at the top and the 18 pixels on the left hand side. That's how I'm getting that loops where I want it inside the banner tag. Okay, now I've put in the CSS for the nav element, the background color, again with the rounding. I'm going to float this to the left to get it all the way over. Then I'm going to set a width because I don't want to set the length. I want it to go down the page over how far it needs to, but I want to fix that width so that it fits on the page the way I want. And then I've got, actually I don't have to have all these. I've got a padding around that. Then I had to put in more formatting for the list, the unordered list, the list items, and the hyperlink text to get the formatting the way I want it. Okay, now I've put in my content elements. You can see here that I've also floated it to the left and set a width at 575 pixels, so it works the same as the nav. Okay, then the footer element, pay attention that here I've used the clear both so that we get past both these floated elements to the bottom so they won't snap up high. And last I've got a class and another A reference to make these look the way I want. And that's it.